Welcome to the Epic Gaming Night Podcast, a podcast of stories and relationships board games create. I'm your host today, Roy Kenny, and today with me as always is Kent.
Hello.
Courtney.
Hi.
Adam.
Peace and love.
And Rob.
Hello, hello.
And we're hoping to have a Matt sighting here super soon.
Yes.
And Ruthie is trying to make sure that the kids maintain in check.
No, Ruthie's playing video games. She's not good.
Are you playing video games or are you watching the kids? No. She's shaking her head yes to both of those.
Both.
So there it goes. There it goes. She did play board games this week, so she has stuff she could have talked about. So, but whatever. No. We're good. But yeah, so hey, how's everybody doing? Another episode of the Epic Gaming Night Podcast.
Doing good.
Today we're talking about pretty games,
right?
which I still need to figure out my game. I've got one in mind.
There's a few to pick from.
Just a few.
As long as somebody else didn't
not
pick
that
mine.
matters to Kent.
Right.
Not that that
This
matters.
is terrible.
He likes games for what's on the inside, not what's on the outside.
Bro, I'm surface level,
Surface level.
right? If you're cute, hey. If you're not cute, don't talk to me.
Yeah. You can be
That's
cute
how I
and
treat
mean,
them.
and then it's fine, but
It's all about the personality and the mechanisms.
Yeah, what nobody who listens knows is that Rob's wife is Romanian and he doesn't speak Romanian at all.
Yeah.
It's been like 15 years.
So
that's awesome.
it works though for us.
Yeah.
Listen, whatever works for you, man.
Yeah, we're very excited, and yeah. So I'm all about pretty. I'm all about pretty. So, and the reason why is because I'm the opposite. I am that deep intellect, like that caring, and I don't like myself, so I just want to go opposite. I'm just gonna go surface. Like I wouldn't marry me, so I'm just gonna go like I want everybody else. I just want that surface level stuff. So if you're coming with a board game, I don't care if your board game is like amazing and super in depth. It just has to be pretty.
I thought you were supposed to be the handsome one of the podcast, Rob.
He is.
Yeah.
I have a face for radio.
Whatever. But hey, I guess we can get into the news, and we'll start with an item here. This is DC United. We could see this coming from a mile away, especially when they announced
Yeah, this looks
Deceased. But it looks like they're going to be adding tons and tons of stuff. And the base box is like slammed with like popular characters. They're not holding back. They have like Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman straight up and Joker in the like base box for this. So what do you guys think?
I'm guessing they're wanting to put that on the retail shelf. That's going to sell the most, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Is the base box for Marvel.
Is there any
Good
shot
one.
this is going to cross over with Marvel United? Can you play them together?
I'm sure you
I don't
could.
think there's
Yeah.
any way you can't. I mean, it looks like
they're
like
not
the
gonna
easy,
say-
they're not going to
come out and say
say
that.
you can, but like the mechanics from what I've seen look the exact
Yeah.
same. The equipment looks the same, the
Dude,
boards look the same,
that-
everything looks the same, you know.
That makes it very attractive. Like that's
Yeah.
a super fun idea to have
Yeah.
like Thor and Batman in the same thing.
I guess you
and-
can have Batman against Thanos or whatever, or Batman
Yeah.
against, you know, the Sinister Six, you know, whatever you want to do.
That's a similar thing with Deceased. I think you can cross over that
Yeah.
with Marvel Zombies too, and it
Yeah.
works pretty. It seems like from what I've reading, you can.
Yeah,
That's gonna
it
be
looks-
a huge appeal.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can mix and match that stuff, but even though they don't necessarily say that you can. Which characters are you hoping to see? Like, I don't know which DC characters you guys are into, but which ones are you hoping make it into the game?
Outside of those,
I'm hoping for Shazam.
Where are you going?
I bet
love
Shazam
Shazam.
will be in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they'll have Shazam, they'll have the Flash, you know,
for
they'll
sure.
have Aquaman, they'll have all those guys. But
Deathstroke.
I'm just a sucker for Superman. He's
Yeah.
always been my favorite. I just want to play with Superman.
Yeah.
So
He
yeah.
better feel super OP though.
Yeah, you'd
That's-
hope
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I was
Not
wondering,
every
is like
villain's
all
gonna
of
have
his
kryptonite.
cards gonna be like wilds, like wild.
Yeah.
that'd
He just
oh,
do whatever he
that-
wants.
That'd be
Except
kinda
if you're fighting the villain who knows how to use kryptonite, you have a hard time.
All of your wilds just turn into movements because you have to run away.
But yeah, all of your cards are wilds, but you can hold one fewer card in hand, and your cards
Ooh.
range from like one thing to two things.
That'd be
Right?
cool.
'Cause you know, like how you have like I think even some cards do up to 3. His are only 1s and 2s, but they're all wilds. I think that'd be really cool. And instead of having like 3 cards in hand, you can only have 2 or whatever. So in case you have to dismiss cards down. But yeah, he would
I
be.
I
I
would
do
dig
wonder if
something
they
like that.
show any of like his cards on the campaign page yet.
We should
Oh,
get the
let's
Watchman.
see.
That'd be a fun DC character.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
nope, he's not all wild. I see some of his cards. They're just plain old icons.
well,
I want
they
Dr.
should have reached
Manhattan.
out to me.
I should have reached out to you.
They
So you
should have.
could-
But I think it's going to be cool and stuff like that. But I'd really like board games to, at least some of the major players of board games, to come out with some new stuff. Even though they constantly do come out with new stuff.
Right.
This
you want a
this
different
is not
system?
as
or-
exciting to me because it's like, okay, like it's
Honestly,
The nice thing
Um,
about the United stuff though is it's so easy to
You
play.
can-
You
it's
it's so
easy to get
easy
played.
to get play,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
play it together. It's not like you're gonna have to learn probably a lot of new rules to play this. So that's kind of the one nice thing about
Yeah.
right.
and adding on to the same universe kind of thing.
And
it's
it does
fun.
look like
I mean,
they already have the equipment and everything in here, like even in the base set. So like the equipment is stuff that they added with the new multiverse stuff in Marvel. So
Mhm.
it's cool that they're continuing to do that sort of stuff. So it doesn't look like they're going baseline with any of the stuff. They're just going to kind of like do it.
Like, keep going with it. Yeah.
Who these
it's such an
guys?
such
I
an
don't know who these
accessible
guys are.
co-op. Like it scales so easy to different groups. Like my kids like it. My little game group here at work likes it. It's just a. I don't know. It's a
fun.
very accessible. Yeah, it's a very accessible game.
And if you sign up early, you get a Two-Face coin. Okay.
The thing I don't like about it is storage of this thing is a bear.
Yeah, yeah.
Getting all the figures you want and all the cards and all that stuff is not the easiest thing. So
That's
I
if
love
you
being
go,
able to
like,
like mix
all
and
in.
match characters. Yeah, like I love being able to be like, I want to use this random character from this expansion, and then
Having to go and
whoever,
find it.
and it's a hassle to get all this
Let's say
together.
people probably
put
have
it
a heart
back where it
attack,
belongs.
but like literally, this is like my Marvel United. It's just all like shoved
I
in
totally
one
get
box.
that.
Yeah.
I totally get that because it's just so
It's too many
so-
things,
takes up
you
so
know?
much space otherwise.
And
That's
honestly,
what
this
kids
is a
wanna
terrible
do.
solution
Yeah.
because like this makes me not want to play the game.
I
Is
know.
that
Well,
wrong?
and if you want
Like-
to paint them, those things are going to
Yeah,
get.
that's
paint's
why I
gonna get
won't
shipped
let
everywhere.
can't
Wait,
do
my
that to
poor
our,
little-
our copy because I'm like I
little
want to eventually
painted-
paint them all and
Yeah.
it's gonna just get
Oh,
so
he looks so good.
Oh man, I've been painting minis for our D&D
Somebody's gonna
campaign,
get
and
mad.
I just painted a woman that looks like Wonder Woman.
Oh, nice. What was I gonna say? I did play Marvel Zombies this week, and I don't want to spoil too much before we talk about what we played, but I don't know. I think I enjoy Marvel Zombies better than I like Marvel United. So
Marvel Zombies is. Did you
It's
play
good.
as the zombies or play as the
I
heroes?
played
Did you
as
play
the
X-Men or just-
heroes. I played as the heroes, and we played together as a team. And I don't know, I just had a
Yeah,
lot
yeah.
of fun with it.
I
And
think that's really fun. The really
Yeah.
fun way to do it. I like that a lot too.
yeah. So I actually don't have the zombie mode for the game. I only have the hero mode for the game.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah.
So I only have the X-Men Resistance and then the add-on box. So who
I need
knows?
to give it another try.
Oh, it didn't appeal to you the first time?
I just love the zombie side where you can like go searching for equipment and get all this stuff and like customize your characters. What I'm not liking about Marvel zombie side and what has me a little worried about the DC side is like, which I get, like example Superman. Superman is Superman. He doesn't need a machine gun or like these two on fire katanas. I get
But
that.
you get to get those character upgrades.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, but it's
bystanders
just-
and
it's-
hero powers.
it's not
hero
the
traits
same.
or whatever.
It's not
I
the
don't know.
same?
To me it just doesn't feel the same. Like I love that about Black Plague, about like getting all the different pieces of equipment and working together to make sure your equipment works. Like
Interesting.
I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't care so much for the hero side of stuff. Of like I could only do this thing, right?
Gotcha.
Or I only had these options. So
I like that. You want that random moment when you pull the card and you get the Warhammer and
right,
or the orc
right
or
when
the
you're
orc
like,
bow and
when you're Queen Elizabeth and all of a sudden you get like this minigun and you're just running around, just like it makes no sense. I love that, and
Oh,
like
interesting.
getting the hero or the character upgrades. They're nice and stuff like
Well,
that.
the games are so similar. Just add the minigun into your superhero game. Who cares? Do what
Yeah.
you want. No one tells you what to do, especially not Simon,
That's right. No one tells me what to do except for my wife and
except for your
My daughters.
Romanian wife.
and you can't understand her because she's talking Romanian anyway. You're just guessing.
Oh,
You're
we're the
winging
same
it.
joke.
winging it. Yeah.
All right, well, I'll talk about that more later. Let's talk about this game, The Flames of Finnar. How do you say this? I don't know. Fanfar?
Is it? Hold on.
Or Fafnir.
Is it Fafnir?
Fafnir.
Well, I don't know how to pronounce the axe. Like, is that an F or is it just
Oh, okay. That's a good point. That's a
Axiferaner?
good point. I didn't notice he was even an X.
Well, you know.
Yeah, so this is again, we're talking about another game that's not even out on Kickstarter yet, but it's coming out to Kickstarter in June.
From
The
Lucky
Flames
Duck.
of Fafnir. Yeah, by Lucky Duck. So it's
I'm a Lucky Duck fan. Mm-hmm.
this one looked kind of cool because it's not an app assisted game like a lot of Lucky Duck games. It is a marbles rolling game, like sort of like a Fireball Island kind of thing, but it's a town defense game where you're fighting this big dragon, and you're trying to. It's not cooperative, but you can all lose if the dragon destroys the town.
Oh, wow.
But there's ultimately one winner, or you can have one person get on the dragon's back, control the dragon, you become like a bad guy, kind of. It's sort of weird. It just sounded kind of cool. It's got a really nice table presence there.
Yeah,
I just love the look of it. And it's got that huge dragon that like throws marbles at you, and you have to turn it at the end of each turn or something. You turn it in a different direction, and it like will shoot marbles. And sometimes if you build, you can like build little barriers to block the marbles. And if they hit your barriers, you get bonuses and stuff. I don't know. It just looked really cool. I don't know much more about it besides that. And Lucky Duck does some pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
It says 1 to 4 players, 90 to 120 minutes. I'm kind of concerned about the 90 to 120 minutes for that kind of game.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
that does long.
It looks really nice. I just has a really nice look. So it's one that I definitely want to keep an eye out for this June.
Yeah, I think we should be playing this on the Dice Tower soon. Well,
Nice.
I mean, someone from Lucky Duck called me today, and I was trying to
Okay,
let me know, and I was directing them to the right person. But yeah, we probably like in May or whatever we should be playing this. So I guess I'll know more about it then. But it looks cool. That dragon looks
Yeah.
cool. I'm always
Yeah,
down
it
for the
does,
dragons.
yeah.
So it's going to Kickstarter. It's not
going to
straight
Kickstarter.
retail?
Yeah.
It's
Okay,
going to
this will
Kickstarter or
come out, like-
GameFound? Straight up Kickstarter?
Oh, I think Kickstarter is what it said.
Oh,
Oh,
gotcha.
okay.
Yeah, because I know
So
Lucky
this
Duck's
is
kind of
like
back and forth in
2025.
between Kickstarter and GameFound, so it just depends, you know.
Yeah, it seems like some companies bouncing back and forth, so they don't have to they can do another project without having to violate the terms of whatever.
Yeah.
I have to imagine there's some strategy baked into this where like you're not just rolling marbles every 5 minutes if it's a 90-minute game.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So you must
But
like
if the
really
marbles,
have...
those marbles rolling out of the dragon's mouth sounds like a cool idea, though.
It seems cool, but I'm guessing that like the novelty of that must be the build up for the resources. There must be some like scarcity for like whatever resource swapping you would have to do. Like
Yeah.
that hopefully is what builds attention. Because if it were a
Interesting.
90-minute game where like at the end of every person's turn you're just dropping marbles, that would probably get a little silly.
Yeah.
Like Fireball Island?
Yeah, but I don't know. I kind of trust Lucky Duck when it comes to having something that's an experience. Like all of their games are very experiential, but they don't feel super drug out. Like they're not like yo-yo-y, you know. I don't know. It looks really cool.
Well, this is a new IP. Fireball Island. Do you expect it to be silly like that?
Right.
I mean,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
for
it's based off of that. So this is a whole brand new IP. I love the colors. I love.
It looks like it's
the
pretty
table
like they're
presence.
taking it pretty seriously from what I can
Yeah.
tell.
Oh,
It's hard
cool.
to say.
Well, I
So-
guess we'll find out more.
I think it's gonna be great. The only thing is, I don't know about you guys, but I've got a little bit of like Kickstarter / GameFound,
Fatigue.
right?
Yeah.
Like I'm still waiting on, this is not nearly anything compared to some of you guys on the show, but I'm still waiting on like 11 or 12 Kickstarters to come in and like almost as many GameFound games to come in.
That's
and I'm
crazy.
like, some of these games I've been waiting for like a while. Like,
Yeah, that does stink.
But once
I don't know.
you back enough of them, you start to forget about all that, and then they just show up randomly.
Yeah, then it's just a surprise.
That's why a lot like I'm on one of the Facebook groups for Marvel United just for like painting tips and stuff like that and
Oh,
storage
nice.
like most of the conversation is about storage for it a lot. It's kind of funny, but a lot of people on there were like kind of upset. I mean, most people are happy about it, but a lot of people were kind of like, we still haven't gotten Marvel Multiverse. Like, why are they coming out with another Kickstarter and like with like why are
Because
they
now they're
asking
with
for more- why are they
GameFound and the
asking for more
chains
of
are
my
off.
money when I haven't gotten what I already paid for, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
like as a consumer, I can kind of understand that, but as a business, like they have to keep the money coming in too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
are you guys waiting on Marvel Multiverse?
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people.
For a
are.
quick second though, I thought you said you were going to be part of a group on Facebook for like support wives of like wives of like who have husbands like Kent.
Who buy too many
Yeah,
games?
yeah.
Because
That's a good point.
part of this
It's
support
not
group.
games anymore. It's Lorcana. That's what I
Yeah.
need the support group
That's
for.
really what
Lorcana's
it's
not a
for now.
game. You heard it here first.
It's the lifestyle. In fact,
It's a lifestyle.
Riley was asking me today. She was like, "Hey, Dad, can we play tomorrow? I haven't beaten you in a couple days." On Smack. Okay, let's play.
That's awesome though.
She did beat me, like legit beat me the last 2 times we played. So, but
Have you
We're
taken
having
the
fun.
training wheels off now? You still hold back a little bit. You still hold back
yeah,
a little bit.
still some. Again, I want to get her good and addicted. Right, like we may go like Monday night. They have like a local Lorcana on Monday night.
nice.
So I may take her. She's asking about going and stuff. So we'll see. There's
Do
a
you remember-
tournament this weekend, but we're not ready for that.
Do you remember Ryan Ortiz that we used to play games with all the time?
Oh yeah.
We used to go to Magic tournaments all the time, and he played in one round against like a kid, and he's like in the tournament like going easy against the kid, and like, oh, okay, well, I'm not gonna like play too hard, and the kid started dropping all these super expensive, really rare cards, and he's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Immediately changes things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Kid's got a $300 deck.
exactly. $300 in Magic
Riley and
Gathering.
I
That's like
don't
a
have
budget
that.
deck.
Nothing.
That's a budget deck. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Back
What
in
is
my day,
this?
that was an expensive one.
What is really cool though is like I ordered a bunch of cards from TCG Player, and a couple of them, like I think the last set of cards came in a couple days ago. But when they first came in, I had like 4 packages in, and when you get them, they're depending on who you order them from on TCG Player, they're like handwritten notes or something. And so my wife, my Romanian wife, the little English I was able to understand, she was like, "Hey, all of these companies are just like sending you personal letters. Is there something that's going on I don't know about? Like, did something happen?" I'm like, "Babe, don't worry about it. Everything's fine." But it's just my Lorcana cards. But the way that they have everything handwritten and stuff on there, she's like, "Wow, is this something really cool?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's just a thing." But then we open it up and she sees it's just the cards, and then I get in trouble. She's like, "Why are you ordering more cards?" But anyway,
That's hilarious. I love-
Fafnir, the Flames of Fafnir.
Next game. The
right,
Fall
next
of Kingdoms.
So this game looked kind of cool.
I haven't even
This is
seen
also
this.
coming soon to coming to Kickstarter in June. The cover looks really nice. I like the look of it. It's a social deduction game that's kind of they say it's a, what's the tagline? Basically it's a fast playing social deduction game, 2 to 7 players, 20 to 40 minutes. We really like our Human Punishment and games like that. So this game is each player takes a kingdom, and they've got some character cards, and one of their character cards is revealed, the 2 are hidden. Then they've got some destiny cards, which are kind of these like really random swingy cards that can really change the game, make things go like way on its head. And it sounds like you're just got kind of taking turns. You can attack the other players. You can do things to reveal their cards. You can form alliances, all sorts of stuff. And basically, a player's out when either I think all their characters are removed, or when their kingdom is destroyed. So you've got a little kingdom board in front of you that tracks
interesting.
your kingdom's health. So it's like there's 2 ways to get eliminated, and you're trying to eliminate the other players, be the last kingdom standing. I don't know if there's like victories for multiple players or whatnot, but it's just got a cool look to it, and it just sounds like a kind of a fun social deduction game. I'm always interested in trying, like, especially cool looking ones like this that are like, this kind of sounds like a more non-standard social deduction game, which I kind of like those. And I also like the really swingy, crazy events in these kind of games. So that's the Fall of Kingdoms, coming to Kickstarter in June.
The
That's
box
And also, I think it's the same designer and artist from what it looks like. I could be
Oh,
wrong.
really? Yeah, the box art's creepy.
Designer Zachary Chu, artist Zachary Chu.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of interesting too.
Entering, so you have like a little kingdom board there and a bunch of little coins or exploration tokens. I don't know. what
I
those
don't
are.
know. I can't tell. I don't know exactly.
It looks like a really small game too, though. So
Yeah, it says 20 to 40 minutes. It almost sounds like it has some elements of coup in it also, where you're like, you can kind of bluff and say you have a certain character, a certain role, maybe.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. That's cool. I wonder. It sounds a lot like the ones where you have the different roles and That's cool.
It piques my interest. This is the first I had heard of it at all. So
Yeah, and I think it's a smaller publisher or almost a new publisher maybe. So it's probably something at least worth looking at when the Kickstarter launches in June.
Nice. The next one here is Ziggurat, and it looks cool because it's got a 3D ziggurat per the name.
Yeah, so this
and
one
a storybook
is a legacy game. It's 6 episodes, legacy game, but the design team is really what drew my attention. It's got Rob Daviau, Matt Leacock, which are, some of the best legacy game designers out there. And it's basically, the theme is there was a ziggurat that a dragon used to live in, and then it became abandoned and overgrown with vines, and then the town around it died off, and people have been hearing noises from the ziggurat, and they're going back to explore. So it's full co-op. 2 to 4 players, 45 minutes, ages 8+. It's kind of a family weight game. But what I've seen, I didn't realize this, but people are saying it's based off an old game called Mole Rats in Space, which was like a kids game. But it did not have a 3D board, and it was kind of like it's like a modern Snakes and Ladders. It's like a co-op game Matt Leacock did a while back. And then it looks a little bit like that. So if you look at the board, it's kind of tiered, and you kind of climb up to the ziggurat, and then stuff changes as you beat the different levels and unlocks new things and permanently
look at there's little down ramps adjacent to the arrows and stuff around there. I see.
So I don't know much more about it besides that. I have played More Rats in Space, and it was cute. We liked it. We got it for our niece for her birthday many years ago. And it was a good little kids co-op game, but I don't know if this may be more going on than
or is it competitive?
It's full co-op.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And the cover looks really nice on this one too. It looks, I don't know, it's almost like a mismatch from the game itself, from what I can tell. Maybe, I don't know, but
I can see some of the animals on the little standees, but it does look very different from the cover and storybook to how that.
And this is not going to Kickstarter or any kind of crowdfunding, as far as I can tell. You can pre-order already on their website, the Mindware Games website. I can post a link in the chat too.
Nice.
It looks interesting.
Well, I guess we'll talk about some of the games that we have played.
Yes.
So I guess we can start with Adam.
Oh man, I feel like I talked about this game really recently, but as we were discussing before we got on, I haven't played a ton of games the last couple of weeks because I live in a house with 3 teenagers, and the only thing I do is watch high school sports. That's my second full-time job.
You start just being on the sidelines, like teaching people board games.
Yeah, I mean, I've played a few things here and there, but I've been playing kind of lighter and quicker games, and I've just kind of like, again, I feel like I talked about this in the podcast like at least a few episodes back, but like I've just gotten back to playing Sheriff of Nottingham again,
It's
like
so
a
good.
lot.
I taught Ruthie this game on the cruise.
Yeah, I think Ruthie was on the last time we talked about it because I think I was also like kind of like egging her on that she needed to play it, and when you have a big group and you're just playing it with max player count. I've been playing with the expansions a bit, so you do the two sheriffs, so I forget what they call them, but like you have the 2 sheriffs instead of one, kind of inspecting the gate and then doing like the black market. Like you can kind of just mix and match some stuff from that Merry Man expansion.
Yeah.
And that just makes it a blast too, because once you've played a couple rounds with people and it's like, okay, now you guys have the basics down. Let's just throw some wild stuff in there. And just the wheeling and dealing that's going on, and like the absolute stretching of all of the rules, and like having the 2 different sheriffs make a deal with each other and be like, okay, if he does this, then I'm not involved, and if he does that, and then the sheriffs even back stabbing each other. Like we've just let it completely get loose. Rob, you'd love it. It's like so loose around the edges. Oh, yeah. It's not even funny at this point. It has just become like, and I bought for the game we play at work, I think we're going to play tomorrow, I bought a little bell that fits in the box so that when the market opens, whoever's the sheriff rings the bell to shut everyone up as they're all chattering and trying to like pre-game. You ring the bell. It's time. Put them in. You ring the bell. So
I love that.
I'm having a blast with it, which I think is delightful. It's cool to pull a game out that you've had for like a really long time and kind of just like the fun feels the same. So
this is the first game that me and Rob ever played together.
It is. And we yelled at each other.
Yeah, that was awesome. Man, that had some interesting moments. There was one time where I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to make a deal with you. Clack!
Every time. I think every time you opened up my bag. It's such a great game.
But if you were honest, I wouldn't have to.
I haven't played with it yet though, but I love this game. I don't think this will ever leave my collection. It's such a classic game. It's so much fun.
There's a new version of it that has the Robin Hood theme from the Disney Robin Hood theme, and I kind of want to get that version of it.
It
We
looks so
sold our
good.
other one, and I was so tempted to get the Robin Hood one.
Yeah, it doesn't have the snapping bags
It's
though.
on with the
Like it's got like a drawstring bag. And I'm
fox
like,
and stuff?
how do you even play with a drawstring bag? Like I need it to have the snap
Is it-
on it.
Is it Simon, the Robin Hood one?
No, the Robin Hood one
no.
I think is Spin Master. Maybe they
Robin Hood and Little John.
maybe it's
so.
a cooperation in between Simon and
I
Spin
think
Master.
I think the license to that game left Simon, I believe.
So they only had
Really?
it briefly because they did second edition.
I could be wrong, but I think that's what happened.
I didn't like the artwork for the second edition.
Yeah,
No,
I
a lot
kind of
people
like.
didn't.
I like the old Sheriff of Nottingham. I like him like in the photo here on the stream.
Yeah.
You know, he's kind of just like chonky, and he kind of just looks like maybe like a '90s cartoon. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's smarmy. It just makes it more fun
Oh,
because
he
you
is
can.
smarmy.
It's also a great way to kind of teach people about like role playing too, because like I have a lot of people who I've played this game with who've also role played for the first time, and in a weird way, at least the way I play it, it's like I start putting on the stupid accent, and I'm like, my character is this. Like I'm telling you right now, this is how he's gonna be, and I'm gonna play it to the T. It's not you're not talking to me. You're talking to this greedy bastard, you know, and you have to sell him on getting stuff through. So, like, I'll kind of announce up front whether I have like an altruistic sheriff or my version of the sheriff is greedy, and and people do start to get into it, and you learn that
They
like
do.
you can have as much fun with the game by adding your own flavor, because the mechanics are so light. It's not like you have to pay a ton of attention to them. It's like very
The walls
basic.
come down when you do stuff like that. Like all of a sudden, like people, like my father-in-law, I would never expect him to like a game like this, but I took a chance a couple years ago and brought it and we played it, and I did what Adam was talking about, and I got real silly with my character and stuff, and by the end of the game he's just laughing and cracking up and also just joking around that he was able to get, like, he felt so dirty, like he got a piece of contraband in, and he was just like, I've done this evil thing, but he loved it. And so it's a great game, especially to bring people out of their shell.
Yep. And I do a turnless market, so when the bell rings and you go to market, it's just a free for all. You got to hold your cards up to commit and then do the swap, so people can swap over each other and stuff. So I just do it like it makes the game go quicker.
That
but
sounds
it also
like fun.
it makes that almost like a real time element. It's dude,
Swap? What do you mean they swap?
well, you know how like when you can
You can exchange with the discard pile.
discard
Oh,
pile
yeah,
at
yeah,
the
yeah.
top. So you put down 3 cards and then take 3. You have to kind of commit to the number. So we just do it like that, but we don't even do it in turn order. We just open it and you have like a minute. It's like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
So you just have to make a decision, and if you don't do it first, you're just done. Like I play 0 turn order in that game. That's like my house rule. It's just no.
Nice.
It's
Yeah,
just
we
chaos.
do the same.
Yeah.
We do the same. I've never done turn order for the
Yeah.
market style stuff.
Yeah, who needs it? Who needs it?
Yeah.
The more upset you are, the better. keep
I looked it up. The Robin Hood version is through CMON and Spin Master.
So maybe
Gotcha.
yeah. So I think
They
didn't
swapped
Arcane
back and
Wonders
forth
have it
for
then or
IPs.
something, and
Yeah.
maybe CMON has it again.
Yeah. Yes. So Rob's game.
Ooh. Which one are you putting up?
I'm doing the
first?
one you had first. So Dice Throny Throne.
Oh, Dice Throne. Yes. So
Yeah.
I got tired of my daughter beating me at Lorcana, and I was like, hey, let's play this game. So I brought out season 1 of Dice Throne. Every time they come downstairs, they always see like the big box. And I was like, well, you know what? This is one of those games I'm waiting on the Marvel stuff to come out for. So I pulled out Dice Throne, and Dice Throne is very simple. Well, we played the 1v1 version where it was just myself versus her. And you have 50 points, and you roll dice. You get 5 dice, and you have like a Yahtzee style where you get 3 different tries to allocate the different combinations that you want with those dice, and you get cards and you get powers and things like that. It's just such a fun game. And even season 1, because we have season 1. I've got some other stuff too, but just the components and the quality of everything looks great. It's a beautiful game. It's a lot of fun. She didn't like her character. She was that elf person. I can't remember her name, but
No.
The Moon Elf. Yeah, she was the Moon Elf. She thought she was okay, but when I was just wrecking her with the Barbarian stuff, and so she wants to try. She wants to try with Groot, or at least that's what we're calling the
tree guy. I've played with him before. He's cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna try out the Paladin, but the Paladin's like the hardest difficulty because I don't think the Paladin has a straight attack. Like you have to do these combos. Like you can't just roll like 4 swords and attack with a Paladin. He doesn't have that. So we'll see. But man, Dice Throne, if you can get your hands on even like a 1-on-1, because you can get like the big box, like I have season 1, season 2. They do one for Marvel and then or DC and stuff like that. They sell also individual. Like you can get Santa versus Krampus, or you can get some of the guys from season 1 or season 2, where it's just like a 1-on-1 pack. I think it's a great game, especially if you just have like 20 minutes to kill and you just want to play a quick. I don't want to play a TCG, right? Like I don't want to play like a Magic or a Lorcana, but I still want that 1-on-1, feel. This is a lot easier to clean up. It's very simple to play. Like the rule book is going to come with a bunch of different rules. They're just scenarios, and they're also like explaining different cards and stuff like that. The game really, the basics of the game you can learn on like a page and a half, 2 pages of rules. So it's a lot of fun. Had a blast. I'm glad Kent came to our house last year for a Lorcana tournament, and he brought his Marvel. I think it was Marvel.
Yeah, it was Marvel. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
And introduced this to me, and like I immediately then ordered this one, and then I backed the Kickstarter for the X-Men one. So anyway, really excited. It's a lot of fun. So we played.
I've never won. Like I feel like every single game of Dice Throne I played, I've lost. Like Ruthie's crushed me this a ton of times. I play with coworkers, I always get crushed.
Yeah.
So I should play this with my
Hey, you
kids
just need
so
to
they
be
can
mean.
crush me also.
Yeah, there you go.
No, it's. I haven't lost yet. Now I've only played like a couple of times, but between Kent and between my children, I'm undefeated.
Well, it's
I
a
lose
pure
more
game
than
of
I win.
skill. It's pure skill, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
Yahtzee rolling is. Yahtzee rolling is an absolute skill.
Yeah.
It's like welding.
There is definitely strategy to knowing
There
what
is,
to go
yeah.
for, but yeah, you can get screwed by the dice for sure.
You can
Yeah.
get screwed by the dice.
there's a little bit of card
Yeah.
play to mitigate it, but,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
It's a blast. And also going back to the very beginning of our show, talking about pretty stuff. It's a gorgeous game to me.
No,
Yeah, they-
Roxy does an
how the-
amazing
everything
job with
pulled
all
out.
their
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, everything
And
looks
just the
great.
game trays and stuff.
The game trays. The only bad thing about the game is the cards are a unique size card. So
Yeah.
don't try to put your card in a typical card sleeve. The cards are smaller. And so they're
interesting.
going to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
loose.
What-
It's just not
It
gonna
is a
look right.
standardized size. It's just you have
Is
to
it
find
like
the
Yu-Gi-Oh
sleeves.
size?
I forget what it's. I don't know if it's standard American
if it's
or standard
thinner,
European.
it's probably like Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, it feels a
there
little
are
bit
sleeves
smaller.
you can get for them. You just have to get the right size. But
So yeah, I had to order their sleeves because I didn't want to, but Kent had all the nice sleeves. And here's what bothers me about Kent. There's a lot of things I love. There's also things that I don't. Like he says he doesn't care about looks and he's all about, just the game. But then all of his games, they're all decked out with all the pretty stuff. So Kent comes, and he has all the beautiful card sleeves. So I order this and I put in my cards, I put them in my sleeves, and I'm like, yes, this doesn't look the same, doesn't feel the same. So another $40 later, I have to buy the card sleeve for season 1. And then I made sure on the Kickstarter that I backed the card sleeves, for the X-Men Kickstarter and stuff like that. Because they're so pretty. Like you don't need the card sleeves, but they're just so pretty. They look so good.
I will say card sleeves are very important. I love a good card sleeve. So
Oh man. Yeah, if you ever play a game,
they're
with-
functionally
it's
important. I
typically
mean, they're functionally good too.
leaned
So
out. So
Help protect your game.
yeah.
you gotta protect your game. That's why I'm doing it. Not at all for looks or aesthetics or feel. It's to protect the game.
Yeah,
Mhm.
There
exactly.
you go.
The second one that we played real quick is we did our second campaign.
Did you
our
paint
second-
this?
Paint what?
This carriage thing.
Yeah.
That looks awesome.
Well, I actually I
Rob's
did it
going
really-
to town.
I did it real quick. Actually, I'm not crazy about it. I want to add some things to it or change some stuff. I don't even have the nun oil on it yet. But yeah, I painted the carriage. So now that the session is over, I can go ahead and spoil this. I was like super sick the week of our last session. Like I I was on the verge of canceling like multiple times. Like I got that stomach bug that was going around.
Oh,
I was not feeling good. I was exhausted. I was sick. I finally was able to get out of bed like Friday afternoon, and our session is Saturday. Like I wasn't able to do half of what I wanted to do with our group, but I still was able to do enough. And our group is so crazy that it still worked out, because even if I had planned to do this other stuff, they were just on this one mission to go kill these 2 people and like jump through this magical well. So in the session, the group is moving along, and they are trying to get to the school to find the Baby Yoda statue, which is the second component out of the 4 components that they have to get. One thing though that I saw in this TikTok video, this guy was like, hey, if you ever need to kill time for something, here's a really easy puzzle. Have people go to a store, and then when they touch things without permission, they all of a sudden get hexed. And so I did that. I had this little store, and as soon as people touch something, I gave them this card. And for example, Marlo, she played for Hannah. When Marlo, her card was she was mute. She couldn't talk. Sammy's card was that she had no. Michael's card is he had to speak in reverse. So instead of saying no, it was on. Or if you wanted to say yes, it was CY. Zach's card was like every word had to start with the letter B and end with the letter B whenever he's talking. So even if he is saying the word yes, he had to say but yes, but. And I can't remember what same, but that was so fun. Like everybody was just losing it, trying to think of all the different things that they could say or that they do, and try to get the sequence down. Eventually what happened was they had to put everything back in the order that they touched it. And so it was a lot of fun just seeing all of them like trip over the words and trying to get all that stuff done. And then eventually they went on and killed all the guards. I even created this other character. I had this fairy that was going to help them in the forest a little bit. It's this fairy named Layleaf. I created this character. Like I say, I didn't do a lot, but I had a lot of stuff. I created this other character. They didn't even go to the bandit camp. They just killed the bandits and then just jumped. They didn't raid bodies. They didn't loot or nothing. They are so excited to get to this school. Like I had this whole other thing that I had like planned for the school. And like as they jump through the portal, you just hear help, and they're like, deuces, we don't care. And they just jumped in the portal anyway, and they just left. But the cool thing is
it's funny in so many D&D games when there's like plot hooks or different things that the DM expects the players to do, and then they're just kind of like, nah.
They don't. Yeah.
Like no. Tom, we like
ignore
there was this dude in this basement. He had like this whole treasure golem that was like just straight up just made out of like gold pieces and all this stuff that this wizard was like feeding like villagers to keep it at bay. And like I guess we were supposed to fight the treasure golem and get the treasure, and we're just like we just made peace with the dude and like talked to him and just like left him with his golem, and just they're like well, I guess you guys don't want the treasure. I'm like, we're not motivated by gold, we're just motivated by where I was like he's harmless, it'll be fine, you know.
As a DM, we love and hate that. Or at least I do. It's a love-hate. Like, I love that you guys are going to do what you're going to do, but at the same time, like, when you put in this time and energy and stuff, you're like, oh my gosh, like, they're going to do this, and then they don't. You're like, what? And then the reverse side is when you don't plan for something, and then they do something so off the wall that you have to make up something on the way. But I am really excited. Matt created this amazing backstory. Like Sammy's got a cool backstory. Nick, Hannah, Zach, like these other. But Matt's even. I can't say too much now, especially because Sammy's on the chat. She's listening. But there were some things that Matt did in his backstory that I really, really love, and I was able to incorporate that into the session without everybody else knowing. And so when certain words were said, they were triggers for Matt's character. And so all of a sudden, Matt's like this little dwarf guy. You know, he's purple, and I can't remember the type of dwarf he is, but he's this little dwarf guy. And all of a sudden, this guy says something, and Matt's like ready to eat his face off. Matt's like, ah! And he caught what I was trying to say. I love that as a DM. Like, if you're going to put the time and create a story for your character, I'm going to honor that, and I'm going to put that in the game. And so it's a lot of fun. Like I've done in the past with Sammy, killing her whole family in front of her, but then revealing it wasn't really your family. I love that. If you give me that effort, I'm going to give it right back to you. And so the session is going good. Yeah, see, everybody jumped into that little well. That was the whole thing. They were trying to jump into that well in the bottom right-hand corner. If you see like where those clouds were, or that little puff of smoke all the way to the right, there's a little bandit camp over there. Not a single person ran over there or anything. And I've got treasures and stuff over there, and I've got like things that could help the group. Nope, get in the well. And so next session, I'll spoil this for you, Sammy. You are at the school, but it's not going to be good. I'm really excited for the school.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
I told her earmuffs. I don't know if she was going to listen though.
the school is gonna be real. I'm excited for it. I actually told the group because we start playing around 5, and I was like, look, it's too light out. I need y'all to come later for this next session because my kids, we have like that Galaxy astronaut thing. You know, it projects the sky. I'm gonna have like real dark and all like these LED lights and the projection on the ceiling and stuff like that. It's gonna be pretty cool. I'm pretty excited for the setup for the next session. So I'll be quiet. I know that was a lot going on, but love D&D. Really enjoying it.
That's awesome. Yeah, we just played today at work, so that was pretty fun. Crazy crap going on. Always, it's always crazy to see how twisted these D&D games get.
I did cut off Sammy's here. I'm sorry, Sammy.
Does anybody ever play their D&D game clean? They always seem to get in the gutter. I don't know.
They were pretty clean. So far, they've been clean. You know, like, but they just killed all the bandits. Like, this group is set on a mission to complete their task, like their 4 stuff. You know, to help this guy find love. But yeah, they haven't killed any innocent villager yet. You know that. Nobody's had any illegitimate children or anything like that. You know, everyone's been pretty clean. They're on a mission. And that's going to sort of come to a halt this next session. Because they are, what is it? An immovable object is going to meet an unstoppable force. We're going to see what happens.
Nice. Well, my game, I talked a little bit about the fact that I played some Marvel Zombies. I don't think I've played a Zombicide game since Black Plague. Like forever ago. But yeah, so I had a copy of this. I'm like, it's time for me to crack this out. And we're going to we had a bunch of our friends over, and we're actually going to be going to a convention in May where we're cosplaying as like the different Marvel like X-Men characters. So I made us all play our characters that we're cosplaying as in Marvel Zombies. So I'm like, I'm going to be Gambit, Ruthie's going to be Rogue, like all that stuff. So I was like, we can do this. It'll be fun. So we kind of did it that way. And they had a lot of fun with it. Yeah, and I guess we haven't played too many cooperative games together, so it was fun for them to like be working together as a team and be like, oh, go over here and get this crate, and we have to do this and do that. And it was funny because like one of our friends was like, oh man, this game was decently complex, but it was fun. I was like, Zombicide is complex, like my brain. And Ruthie's over there, like she has the rules, like she understood what was going on, like she had it like down already. She was almost bored with how easy the rules were, but like she's moved way past simple games where you move forward and roll dice and attack stuff, you know. But yeah, these are just fun. I mean, Rob is probably right about how like simplistic it is about like the items and stuff like that. You don't really build up your character too crazy much, but I do like that you get to use like your ability, your little star power to roll extra dice when you choose to, and you can upgrade and get little like mutant ability or like abilities, like superhero abilities that you can choose when to discard to use. But yeah, just pretty straightforward, run around and kill zombies, you know.
I need to play the non-zombie version. I've only played the version where you're the superheroes and you're the zombies.
What is the main difference in them? There's you don't have do you have the action where you can upgrade and get like special powers in the zombie version?
A little bit, but you're mainly focused on eating people because every round you don't eat somebody, you're hungry. You have like a hunger level. It's like 1 to 4, and if it ever reaches 4, at the end of the turn, you start to receive damage, and there's no way to heal yourself. Even when you eat people, you don't heal, and so you've got like 5 health, right? It's very, very hard to heal yourself in the game. And so if you're not eating people, what happens is you have to do a certain attack that eats them. And so I thought like, man, this is so basic. Like I didn't like
it basically didn't give you any choices. You basically just had to move forward.
You have to go do this. So I've got 2 turns where I could do something cool. And then the next 2 turns, I'm trying to find somebody to reset my hunger. You know, because if I finish my 4th turn without eating somebody, I'm going to start taking damage, and the game is going to kill me with hunger rather than me getting killed by the people.
Interesting.
And
What was I
just-
gonna say? In this, you have an action where you can like boost up your little I guess it's like focus or like energy meter, and you can use that to trigger to either roll more dice. You can just each one you spin, you get to roll an extra die whenever you attack, or you can use it to trigger different special powers that you have. So sometimes people have powers you have to spin that to use. You're rescuing a bunch of bystanders. So one of the actions you can do is you can rescue a bystander. That'll give you another power. And normally those powers specifically use the little star resource to activate. Then also you can take an action to get like a superhero ability. And those are one-time abilities. You get it. And then you can kind of discard it as a free action to do special stuff. Sometimes they upgrade your range. Sometimes they remove the bad guy's toughness. Sometimes they just do like let you attack multiple guys for free. That sort of stuff. There was also like items like there was the Sentinel's Gauntlet that we could blast people with and things like that you could pick up. Like Ruthie like blasted a bunch of zombies with the Sentinel's Gauntlet and then picked it up and threw it at them. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff like that. So it felt to me like we had a decent amount of choices overall. I mean, overall it still felt. I mean, I'm used to playing a lot more complex games than Zombicide, but it still felt like, okay, cool, I can describe like, oh, you can do this and you can do that, you know? So there was things going on. So even if you weren't actively punching things, you could like level your character up a little bit.
I think it's one of the best intro co-op games of all time.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I've gotten so many people who are not board gamers to play one of my Zombicides, and they're like, wow, can we keep playing? Can we play again? You know, they love the idea of a semi-complicated game, or complicated to them, like your friend, even though to us as gamers it's not. But then they also like, okay, I don't have the pressure of having to beat Roy and Rob and Adam and Ken and Courtney. We're on the same team, you know.
And I think this one scales a little bit better at player counts. There's different scenarios that can handle different player counts a little bit, and that's one of the issues with Zombicide is most of the time it's always like it's got to be 6 players all the time. You have to control 2 characters. You have to control 2 characters. You know, this one has like where you can scale it a little bit, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's like, oh, if you're playing with these many players, you add an extra spawn point. If you're playing with these many players, you don't. You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I need to try with the non, because if I play it and I don't like it, I'll probably sell my copy. But it sounds, I didn't have those options when I played on the Zombicide. The only thing I think is cool about the Zombicide is if you got the Sinister Six expansion, the Spider-Man expansion, there's a game mode where you can have zombie characters versus non-zombie characters, where it's actually a versus mode, where you're not all co-op. So I think that's kind of cool. But outside of that, I did not care for the zombie side of it.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what all the DC adds as well, because I mean, I would totally do DC Marvel mashup, but
yeah,
I'm a super.
It's so pretty though.
We're looking
like,
forward
even
to
if you
doing
don't
that.
like the game, look at that. Look at the detail in the map, and look at those figures. Like painting those figures and stuff. When I painted like that horse and buggy thing that you liked,
Yeah,
the difference on painting something like that versus painting a Simon figure is night and day. Like even just the quality, they're so good. It's such a beautiful game. It makes such good quality stuff. It's just
so
wait
many
2 years.
miniatures. I wish I had time to paint them all, but so much time. But yeah, that was Zombicide, Marvel Zombicide. So Kent,
Yes. All right, so I got to play. Courtney and I played a game called Newsboys. This is a game from Japan. It's by the company Sashi and Sashi. So they make a lot of games that have a similar look, but their games are pretty straightforward playing. But they've got some nice, like, simple rules, but kind of fun, interesting game design with them. So this is a roll and write for this game. And it's got this kind of neat card mechanism where you've got a board and you're trying to expand your news route, essentially. The theme is really not there per se, but it's nice looking and it's cute. But essentially, each player gets a set of 3 dice, and these dice have different symbols on them with the different colors. They represent basically different city districts, and you're rolling your 3 dice, and you can do a re-roll. And then in the center of the table, there's cards that every round a card gets flipped over. You got icons on those cards. You got 3 icons on the cards plus 3 icons on your dice, and those are the icons you get to use for your turn, basically. So every player is going to have the 3 icons on the cards to pick from, but then your dice are going to be a little bit different. So that's kind of a neat thing. You're going to pick one color of icon, and you're going to use that to kind of expand your territory on your board. You're kind of like trying to fill in different areas before other players because you're trying to
either complete all the colors of one type, or like complete a whole city section, or basically if you are efficient at completing your areas, you get to get bonuses to complete other areas quicker. And then there's a track you can also use instead of filling in your areas to kind of increase the it's called the strike track, but it's basically used to increase your point scoring for later if you there's an area you can kind of focus on to increase scoring in a different section, basically. But it's really easy, really straightforward. It's very entry level, I would say. It's not it doesn't have like a lot of these new roll and writes or modern roll and writes have like a, if you do this and you get to unlock this, which then allows you to do this, and then it unlocks this bonus, and it's like it gets kind of confusing. You can kind of lose track of where you're going. This has a little bit of that, but not nearly as complicated as some of the other ones I've played. So it's very, I'd say it's a really good entry roll and write. If you're looking for an entry roll and write, it's fun. There's some decent variability in your scoring, I think, and kind of your path to victory. It is ultimately a game where you're going to try to race against other players to complete certain objectives first, because there's definitely big payouts for that. But it plays about, I think it probably played in about 20, 30 minutes, if that. And it's just pretty simple. It can play solo. I have not tried the solo mode on it, but I'm sure it's fairly similar to what the regular game is. But that is Newsboys, and I pretty much like most of the games from this company, and this one's no exception. But it's just it's very just kind of charming, I'd say.
On Facebook chat, Guy, I don't know how long he said this, was asking if we're interested in the new D&D 1 version. I don't know if you guys have looked at that at all.
I not to make you dislike us. I'm as big an advocate for Dungeons and Dragons as anybody, but I've definitely become way more esoteric in the versions I want to play. Like I've largely been playing like advanced Dungeons and Dragons the last couple of years.
I think that's gonna make him the opposite. He'll be proud of you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because
Guy's
me, like,
super old school.
Yeah, I'm not over in the Facebook chat, so forgive me if I wasn't able to read it or suss out where this person's D&D allegiance lies. But to answer that, the whole debacle that they had last year, with the rights grab and with wanting to have with wanting to take away kind of the what do you call it, the common the community usage and all that stuff. I don't know.
Wild.
To me, for RPG, and like maybe this isn't fair, like maybe this is like not like a very businessy view of things, but like it's always been a gaming space where like you accept the fact that once you put it out there, people are going to play it different. They're going to create their own content for it. It's just that type of a product.
And you can literally just make up whatever you want,
Yeah, it's such a, like, most RPGs are kind of like a building block for how you're ultimately going to play the game anyway. So that really turned me off with Wizards of the Coast and Mattel and basically just the mainline Dungeons and Dragons products. So for me, like, I have a bunch of 5e stuff. I played a lot of 5e, but I'm definitely back to playing advanced and a little more Call of Cthulhu and I've been playing some Cairn and have been writing a Cairn sci-fi variation myself. So like I'm just kind of off in that end of the world. And when people ask about it, I'm like, yeah, I'm a Dungeons and Dragons player. But for me, that started to lessen for 5e, which means for D&D 1, I'm probably gonna like sit back and look at it. I don't know if I'll invest any money.
Interesting. It's interesting that they always try to start it over again so they can sell more product. When it's like they really don't even need to reset for the most part,
Yeah, because if you play enough fantasy RPGs, you can take almost any setting and kind of like quickly adapt it to the way you play. Unless you're an incredibly min-maxy technical rules lawyery player. Like if you have that group that only wants to do everything like exactly to the defined numbers that are in the book, then it's hard to like match those things on the fly. Or
I'm not playing with those people. Yeah.
Yeah, neither am I. Like I want to follow the rules so that like you kind of have to live with the consequences as they're intended. But I also like, I don't know. For me, buying into a whole new version every time just seems redundant. So not for me. Sorry, I didn't mean to like totally hog that answer. And I kind of want to try Newsboy. And I can't, how I feel about rolling rights. So
Yeah.
Rolling rights.
I like them. I know Roy's like, these are so boring. I love them.
It's when you can play it at 6 a.m. in the morning and be done.
Oh, it's a little coffee. It's a little morning coffee rolling, right?
There you go.
I mean, the benefit of roll rights, they're really easy to set up. You literally no setup. Well, not much. You got to shuffle the cards, and it's just it's checking boxes can be very satisfying.
Mhm.
It's like the satisfaction sometimes you get from checklists, like, oh, I completed that and I got this, and it gives me this.
Mhm.
I don't know. If you don't really appreciate that, then maybe roll rights aren't for you.
Yeah,
I don't
love
like
them.
checking boxes now. You're right.
Well, there you go.
Well,
But yeah.
I'm gonna get it, Kent.
Well, Courtney's game is Kites.
Yeah, so we found this on like the clearance rack at
Oh, wow.
Barnes Noble, and it's never a game Kent would buy and probably wouldn't buy again. And but because he hates real time games, but I was kind of interested. I like some real time games. It just kind of reminds me of like, so I used to play cards all the time when I was younger, and like we played speed games where you're just trying to get rid of your cards as fast as possible. So it kind of reminds me of that. But basically, in this game, you've got like 5 different colored sand timers, and you're just going back and forth as a co-op game. You're just going back playing cards, and when you play that card, you flip that sand timer, and you're just trying to get through all the cards without any of the sand timers running out. And so it's kind of fun. You have to kind of figure out when to play different cards and when not to play different cards, and trying to so it's kind of tricky too if you've your first time playing, because then you realize, okay, some of the sand timers go a little bit faster than others. So it's like, okay, I might have to play this card a little bit more frequently than other cards. And some of the cards have like two colors on them, so you have to flip both of those sand timers. And it's like, I really need to flip red, and I have one that has red and another card, but I don't really want to flip that other one. So sometimes you have to kind of wait things out. But if you wait too long, then it's making the sand go down another timer. So it's just you're just taking turns, flipping cards and flipping sand timers. So I thought it was fun. Kent was not impressed and probably won't play it again.
I played a game that was, I think it's by either the same designer or same publisher or whatever, that's about fireworks. It's very much the same thing.
Okay.
I think there was maybe a little bit more structure to it. Like you had to do things in a specific order or something like that. But it was still very much the same thing of like flip over the sand timers and not let them run out. I feel like I really want to play a game like this with Ruthie. I think she'd enjoy it a lot because she likes the real-time stuff, and then also it's cooperative and you have to like work together, right? So
This is definitely not a bad game. It's just not my style of game, but it looks. I love the look of it.
Yeah, the art
art's
is really pretty.
I think the right group can have a ton of fun with this game for sure.
I like real time co-op stuff. I think a little more too. Like I like playing like Fuse. You guys remember Fuse? Like you defuse the bomb together. Like I always kind of enjoyed that. The stress of it is sometimes wild. I there's some appeal that I have to that big time. I seeing this makes me really want to play it, because speaking of RPGs and speaking of me, I've been writing this kind of horror cosmic horror sci-fi hack of Cairn, which is like a OSR D&D type system for those who might not know.
You're adding real-time elements to it?
Yeah, I added a real-time element. So like if you have to like do anything to a ship or piece of technology in the game, it's a real-time 3 or 4 dice roll from a 20 pool. So you have a little pool of 15 or 20, depending on how complicated, D6s that you start the game with. So if your ship or if a time travel apparatus, something needs to be repaired, everyone has a task, and you put the 1 minute timer down, and they have to roll, and dice start getting locked, and that determines how well it goes. And it has been a hit with the table, like as I've been trying it out, because it's okay, you guys, we have 1 minute. Rather than role play through how we're gonna fix the ship, I just start like doing it like a voice over like a speaker, and it's like, there's a fire in sector 3, fire, so like you put the little 3x5 cards down that have the dice and the dice lock symbol, and I just put them around the table and let people go to town. It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
But this made me think of it, because I'm like, oh, this would be great. I need to get multiple
sand timers that you don't let run out.
Multiple sand timers and make like a more complicated, like if a big ship catches on fire or something.
Well, check out your local Barnes & Noble, because it was $2.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, man. I have to go to Barnes & Noble this week.
Yeah.
This got some good clearance stuff. They've got, like, at least our Barnes & Noble, they've got the, like, 2 of the unmatched Marvel sets are $10 a piece.
Yeah,
which is pretty good.
I've seen tons of Marvel Champions on clearance as well.
That's
awesome too, and that's always cool. But yeah, our topic for today is going to be pretty games. So I guess we can go through and talk about different games that are super pretty, and I'll let you guys start off with some of the stuff. and I will be right back.
All right.
So we'll start with Adam.
It's me.
It looks like you have Abyss
Right.
and Islebound and Photosynthesis.
I threw 3 games in there because I was having a really hard time picking. And Kent and Court and I were talking about this while we were playing Helldivers the other night. I'm like, I'm going to pick some games that are a little bit forgotten, that are really pretty, that I really appreciate what they did with. So rather than like belabor a lot of explanation for the game, I'll just run through them real quick.
Hold on. When did you guys play Helldivers?
We never do that. All the time. Courtney's always playing Helldivers. She lives on that game.
When did you guys play Helldivers? Because I didn't see the text go out.
You guys never. I was telling Kent this the other night. You guys never text me when you're playing, and I'm sure you play more than I do because your levels are way higher than me. Nobody ever texts me to play, so I'm like, nobody wants to play with me. I'm always texting everybody when I'm getting on there.
Oh,
so
dude, my
like hurts my feelings a little
Did
bit.
you play with Adam's brother?
Oh, she's played with my brother. She's
Yeah.
heard my brother speak. She's been exposed.
And I think we played with your cousin or something too one time.
Yeah, my like cousins group plays quite a bit, and Courtney's
So Adam will
hopped in.
play with Courtney, but he won't play with other people.
It's just Courtney.
Mhm.
It's just Team Yellow Horse. That's their Orange Horse.
Orange horse.
Team Orange Horse plays together. Yeah, that I know Roy's gone, so we're going to completely derail the whole podcast. Helldivers is wild because so many old people like myself are playing it right now. So it's like the pressure to play it is like real. I haven't had pressure to play a video game in like so long in my life.
It's
where it's
real.
Like,
It's not a video
Yeah.
game. It's real.
It's real.
yeah, it's real life. I mean, we gotta. How are we going to liberate the universe for Super Earth?
It's
my
like that
God.
movie Toys with Robin Williams. Real.
Right? Oh my goodness!
Such a great
yeah.
movie, by the way.
Yeah, Toys is fantastic. I actually, when I was younger, went and saw Toys, and then snuck into Bram Stoker's Dracula. Afterwards, like we saw Toys, we had our tickets for it. We were probably, I don't know, 13 or 12 or something, and then we
Right.
just went over to the next theater because Dracula was starting. We sat in the back and scared the crap out of ourselves. It was-
Helldivers is so good. I really want to be y'all's friend again. That'd be really nice.
yeah, we'll think
Steve
about it.
said
I don't know.
he's playing right now, so maybe he can be Steve's friend.
Oh, Courtney said I didn't have a chance with her. Steve, yeah,
I just-
invite me.
I'm just saying you need to call me up sometime or text me when you're playing because
Yeah,
you're
right.
way
Honestly-
higher level than I am. So I know
But
you've been playing without me.
The last several times I've played have only been with you.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That's why I'm still like level 37.
All right,
Like I said, you're still higher than me. So
we'll get on there. We'll get on there.
Nope, not with you, Adam, and your family, and all of your extended family, and all these other people that she's meeting and
Well,
greeting.
Courtney's like my cousin now. I mean,
yeah.
they're like, "Where's that girl with the Carolina accent? Why isn't she on here?" They'll always be like, Mike." We were playing the other night. My cousin Mike, he's horrible at the game, and my brother's like, "Just kick him off and get Courtney back."
I need to jump on because the new big orders. I got to kill 2 billion bugs.
Oh my gosh.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Have you guys played against the automatons and their new ships, their flying ships?
Yep.
It was
And
Oh,
back to video game.
Roy's back on. Got it.
I'm sorry.
Islebound. So you really like Islebound?
What happened? What happened? I guess we thoroughly talked about Adam's games and then started talking about video games.
We got nowhere.
You guys didn't talk about pretty games at all while I was gone?
No.
Yes, we did. We did talk about pretty
Yeah, we
games.
talked about-
Very, very beautiful games.
I tell you what's not pretty: Chipotle attack in the middle of a podcast. No, just kidding.
That was what,
So
all right.
Adam, we still
I
talking
will
about your
try to-
games or?
I'll try to do
Yeah,
it.
and what
quick.
you got?
Yeah. I'll make it quick. So I did. I made us digress by saying that I picked not misfit games, but games that are like kind of that I've indexed as these really pretty games that I haven't played a lot of lately. And I was thinking about them, so I pulled them off the shelf and kind of started, just going, man, I really love the way these games look, and I need to play them more because I love the way they look and they play really great. Islebound is, I think, one of the most underrated Locket games.
I
Wow.
would totally agree.
Yeah, I
Wow.
really like what I think it's an enjoyable game. It's casual. It's almost a 4X game, but without direct combat. Like you can just kind of like attack an island to take it back from somebody effectively. Like, so you don't really have like one-to-one combat in the game, but like it's got like if you've ever played Empires of the Void, which is a Red Raven game as well, like it has kind of a lighter vibe than that, but it plays kind of similar to it. So it is kind of like a 4X. I like it. You go around, you collect resources, you pluck pirates and sea serpents from certain areas, and you get yourself kind of build up, and you have all these different tracks you can manage as far as like reputation and stuff. And it's just a cool looking game, and there's different ways that the board can be set up. So there's some like modularity to it. And of course, like all of his games, it's just very adorably illustrated. And even though the illustrations are kind of like family level and cute, there's always like this like kind of this little sad seriousness to the characters and stuff, which I always kind of appreciate about his style. And to me, it's a little bit of a sleeper game. I think it plays a little better than it had the reputation for, and I think it's a kind of a casual play, and it's a little less fiddly than like Above and Below or something, right? Which I know the storybook adds a lot of cool elements, but this is like a little bit more of a just sit down and you don't have to pay as much attention to it. And it's like kind of a medium or even like a gateway weight game that will bring you into like that 4X experience. So I like it.
Yeah.
And then the other one is a oh, go ahead.
Any of his games would be on this list. Like,
Yeah,
in a
they all
heartbeat.
look
Yeah,
nice.
I could have switched any. I just picked this one because I feel like it's kind of the forgotten one, and I wanted to like throw it out there for people.
And
That
it looks great. The color palette on that game is amazing, I think.
yeah, it's fantastic. There's a couple expansions for it, which I haven't played a bunch, so I don't remember exactly what they do. But I broke these out. I took a picture of them, and then I was like, man, I'm gonna play some Islebound maybe this weekend. But I honestly feel like the game I'm gonna play first is Abyss. That's my other one in there. I think Abyss just has some of the coolest card art and the coolest board and like some of the funnest components and the way you kind of chunk the regions together and stack your cards, draft your court. And it's this creepy underwater Leviathan society that's kind of crafty almost. I don't know. It is a game that mechanically feels very Bruno Catala, like when you play it. But it just doesn't look or vibe like a lot of his other games, and I think it kind of flashed in the pan and went away kind of as quick as it turned up. But I do think it plays well. It's not a terribly complicated game, and it just looks awesome. Like when it's spread out, and you've got 4 players, and you've got the pearls and the cups. It's really cool. So big fan there. And the game that I also left on here that we decided we didn't even like that much was Photosynthesis.
Oh, you didn't like the game, but you like the way it looks?
Yeah, I mean, I'll play it, and I haven't gotten rid of it because of how great it looks.
It can
but
be
I
pretty
do
mean.
think- Yeah, it's a very mean game for how tranquil looking and feeling it is.
yeah.
So, like, it would be nice if the game wasn't so stabby and looked like this, but it is this really cool, sun rotating around the board and the different colored trees growing up depending on whether they're getting sun or not, kind of vibe. And it's easy. It's a real easy game to learn. But yeah, it's kind of you're going to just screw over everybody else at the table to get your sunlight and to get your trees planted. You're blocking people constantly in order to play it. You have to play it like that to win.
Yeah.
So if you don't like that, it can be a little grating, just because, at least for me, like I'll play a take that game, but this is a game that, like, in all of its presentation, kind of doesn't match the way you end up playing it.
All right.
But it's a super good looking game. So those are my 3: Leviathan, Photosynthesis, and Islebound.
Nice. Rob.
Well, I picked this game, and it's temporary. Right now, it's probably the prettiest game out there for me, but it's not the prettiest game out there. It's just, I almost put down, crap, the one that I played with Kent and Courtney, Brass Birmingham. Brass Birmingham has probably got the greatest board that I've seen. Love the dark colors, but I was like, I only like that also because Kent has got all the fancy components, all right? And then I was thinking, man, I really like Champions of Midgard because I love all the multicolored dice, and I love the bright colors and stuff. But I was like, you know what? Like, it's nice, but it's a little too cartoon. Like, it's pretty, it's cute, but it's not like that beautiful for me. And then I was like, it's another game that's like Champions of Champions of Midgard, but like just gorgeous. And that was The Great Wall. I I love the presentation of the Great Wall. The pictures that I have really don't do it justice. I also love the 3D board aspect of the Great Wall. The artwork on the cards is very well done. But another reason why I picked the Great Wall is I'm loving the show Shogun.
Oh, nice.
Like, I don't know if anybody else is watching Shogun. My heart is broken right now, and we can talk about that later. But that's a big reason why I picked the Great Wall, because I'm like, man, I just want to play like Akusa, and I want to play the Great Wall, and I want to play like all these other Asian games. But because the Great Wall is China, Shogun's Japanese. Anyway, the Great Wall is a gorgeous game. It's a heavier game. So if you like Champions of Midgard, it's not going to be that light, fluffy game. Like when we got done playing, Adam had to go take a walk, and he didn't have to go take a walk just because, like, he wasn't feeling well. It's just an intense game. But the artwork is really, really, really nice. I love, again, how the castles stack. And this is also like one of those games that you guys were talking about earlier, where I think it was a Kickstarter game, that Fafnir game, where you're all working together, but you're not working together because you're trying to stop the invasion into China. You're trying to stop the Great Wall from being overrun, but you're also playing individually. So it's a beautiful game. It is a very intense game. You're going to play in like 2+ hours, 2 to 3 hour game. It's not a short game, but man, is it gorgeous. It's just like, I was thinking about maybe some cool mini or not games that I could put on there, but I was like, you know what? Like, if I were to stack up like Blood Rage or even, Ankh and some of these other games, like, man, I think the Great Wall, let me make this exception. The Great Wall with the minis expansion added. The Great Wall base game comes with like just little cubes. Cubes are cute, but I don't like cubes.
I think it's meeples, but still.
The artwork and stuff is the same.
You want those archers up on the wall, baby.
I want those archers up on the wall. I want that. I want the horses. I think it's a gorgeous, gorgeous game, and so it's a lot of fun. And it's just the mindset that I'm in right now. So I'm really enjoying the Great Wall game. I want to play it again, but I think I'd have to play with like certain people. Like, I'd almost have to play with us 4 again.
Yeah. I think it's also worth noting that it's the easiest play I've ever had in an Awakened Realms game on the first time.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it is an Awakened
That's
Realms.
definitely saying something.
Yeah,
Which
It is.
That was
which-
thanks to us.
It was thanks. Well, even the first time I played Nemesis was with Kent too, and I think we struggled through that a lot more.
I never read the
We
notes
did.
myself.
Oh, that's probably why. It was
my experience with Kent and Nemesis was so bad, I sold all my Nemesis stuff.
But this game,
then I
I did a
backed
lot of
Latest
research and
Kickstarter.
homework to get this game like learned and
And we had
figured
a
out.
practice
We did a practice
playthrough.
run, and
Yeah.
But it's
But you guys didn't like the
experience.
2-player version. You didn't like the
It's not as good with 2. No, it's much better with like 3 or 4 players.
Yeah. But still, it's a
game.
beautiful game.
Yeah.
Really beautiful game. And I would love to paint the minis and just like leave the bases for the colors. But the artwork on the cards and everything else like that, it's one of those just gorgeous games.
100% would play again.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So mine is, I'm going back to an oldie or goodie. This is Ashes. Just the artwork in Ashes is still phenomenal. I know Fernanda doesn't do all the artwork still, but just still the way the art looks in this game. I've been playing the cooperative mode of this a lot, and I just still really enjoy it. Like, they recently came out with this gigantic plant chimera thing that you have to fight against in the solo mode or in the cooperative mode. And it's just like, I don't know, it looks amazing, like with these crazy weird teeth thing coming out of the gigantic plant eye, and like all the bad guys and all. I mean, you can't even see all of the different artwork here, but there's just so many pieces of artwork in this game. They're just like, man, this looks amazing. Man, this looks amazing. And I don't know why, but Ash is like, through the entire run, has just had like amazing artwork. It's just, I really enjoyed that style of artwork on cards, I think. And it's just like so good, and I just think the game looks amazing. And I mean, the crazy thing is, like, you don't even draw that many cards in the game. You can hold on to your cards and play and do so many things with just the few cards you have in your hand. But it's just really cool to see those pieces of artwork come out with the bad guys and like all these different thorn whips coming out from this plant and stuff like that, and like different stuff that affects the game in a bunch of different ways. And all the different conjurations look really cool and weird in different ways. You have all these different anthropomorphic animals, then all these different allies that are all your little human people that they just look so nice in Ashes. So but Ash has been touted for how good its art is, and it's still amazing. This is like the newest thing that came out for it, and I just like love the way it looks.
Yeah,
That planet is crazy looking.
I agree entirely. Ashes has always like killed, and especially in like a world where like I think the things you compare it to are like collectible card games. I know it's not as vast a card library, but in a lot of collectible card games, like there's a lot of, or even honestly, and a lot of other living card games, like there's a lot of mailed in art or reused art, and Ashes like just never did that ever. Like
it breaks my heart that it didn't take off more.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so good, and I love the whole dice mechanic of the game too. It fixes if you have a bad mana. It fixes if you have a bad draw with the dice. It's going to cost you, but it still fixes it. What a great game! What an absolutely great game.
Yeah, big fan.
It's so crunchy. Like holy smokes, it's crunchy. Every single deck I play, because I keep playing the new decks that come out for it, and it's just like, wow. And I get to look through all the cards and be like, okay, I'm going to use this Phoenix Born, and we're going to go up against this thing, and like, yeah, it's just like just so like there's a lot going on in the game. It's got a lot of meaningful decisions. Like that's pretty cool. I love it, and it's beautiful. My other game that I have is just one of my like go-to 4X games I always talk about, and that's just Heroes of Land Air and Sea, specifically with the Pestilence expansion where you have that 3D board. Something to me, like honestly, the art in Heroes of Land Air and Sea isn't necessarily my favorite, but the way the game looks when it's all out on the table with all of your stuff, with 3D board, 3D buildings as you're building them up, and all these airships and miniatures everywhere. I don't know. To me, it just is. It's just like a beautiful experience as you're trying to build up all of this stuff together.
Would you say that inspired you for another 3D game that has a lot of 3D stuff out there?
I don't think that the actual 3D part of this inspired me. I was just excited about trying to make planets. I did the rotating part before I did the 3D part. I was like, but
Can we talk real quick how they got the rights to do the Game of Thrones game? Like how did that happen?
I'm guessing the market on the Game of Thrones IP has gone way down since the last season. So,
but it looks like the HBO version, like they have like the hot version ish. So I thought it was kind of cool.
I'm hoping that game's awesome. We'll see.
Yeah,
I haven't been like jiving on the Tiny Epic stuff as much as I used to, so I should.
I know they went big on you, and you love the big version.
I know, right?
I backed the Cthulhu one just because I like Lovecraft stuff a lot. I didn't even like read the rules. I'm like, I'll just send me the game. I'll play it at least once.
The thing is, like, they're so affordable. And I think that's one of the things that people miss about the Tiny Epic stuff is like they give you so much game.
Yeah, they
in
really
such
do.
an affordable little package. Like you kind of can't go wrong,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, because even if it's not the best game, you can take it with you to suitcase, and it costs $30 or something, or $28. It's like
Mm-hmm. That's for the deluxe edition.
The amount of game you get for a $20 mistake.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I guess we can go to Ken's game.
All right, so I picked.
It's so funny. Rob said not Blood Rage and not Ankh, but he didn't say.
He didn't say this one. So I picked Rising Sun. I just absolutely love the artwork in this one in particular.
It is really nice.
Of the Eric Lang series especially. So I know you don't like the game, Rob, necessarily, but I feel like this. I actually still like the game a lot. I just haven't played it in quite a while. But I feel like of all those games, I don't know if it's like the color palette, just the art style. The way that board is with the different colored regions and the different color, each faction has its own little color, and just the combination of those monsters and the map on this board is big enough where you can really like load those areas up with stuff, and it doesn't feel like it's too much. So you have just like this huge, amazing table presence. The miniatures in this one are some of the best. I mean, in my opinion, some of the best Steamon's ever done. With some of those monsters and things, and like I said, I just think that the artwork on the cards and all that, just the style, is just very just so beautiful. I think.
And putting your little yin yangs together when you form an alliance.
That with the deluxe version, especially, and all that, the fancy stuff. It just has such a nice look to it, and I mean, I like the the Japanese mythological theme and all that kind of stuff going on too. It just really does it for me. This one in particular, like I think compared to Blood Rage and even Ankh, like I think Ankh's board is just not that great looking. I think maybe the Ankh miniatures are cool and all that stuff, but I think the combination of this board with the miniatures it has, with the production,
But you get to
Everything,
use
those
more
little
miniatures in
tiles.
this game than you get to use in Ankh. Ankh, you only get like a couple monsters.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know?
Yeah,
That's when you
exactly.
can draft any of them, sort of.
So I think just those factors and just the style of the game and everything, it just really comes together for me as far as just so visually appealing. And that is why I picked Rising Sun. I mean, there's so many games to pick, but that's, this one was the one that came to mind first.
I thought you were going to pick Cthulhu Death May Die.
I mean, that one does too, but
Yeah.
That's a gorgeous game too.
I don't know. I think I still prefer the look of. I mean, it is a gorgeous game for sure. This doesn't have the problem of Death May Die where you have like no space for your monsters. Like Death May Die,
Yeah.
those tiles are so tiny, and like you just
They-
load up with like all those enemies, and it's just like
Yeah.
stuff spilling
all
everywhere.
the tiles look cool because they're like shaped a certain way and stuff, and then it's like, how is Cthulhu walking down this like sewer pipe?
Yeah, exactly.
uh,
Love it.
but play Death May Die. That's
It's a great game for sure.
I think Courtney's game is also awesome.
Yeah, so I it was really hard for because I love Pretty too. And two of my favorite artists are Tool and Vincent Dutrait, and I was like, I really really wanted to pick one of their games, but I landed on Scythe, which is just has just gorgeous artwork in the game. And Kent made the comment, well, you don't see a lot of artwork, it's on the cards and stuff like that, but I think the board is still gorgeous. I think like all the miniatures, the airships. I think it looks pretty on the table. I mean, we've upgraded ours to have all like the special components and stuff like that, so it's all fancy. But it's a good game, and I think it looks good. I love the expansions and everything they've done with it. But the artwork is just incredible, and it's like created this story just by the paint, like the paintings on the cards and stuff like that. It like really brings the world to life, I think. And brings a theme to a game that probably could have easily been themeless, because it's mostly a Euro game. So, but yeah, I think I like and I would include Expeditions in that because it has kind of the similar artwork and similar look. But yeah, I think Scythe looks really cool.
I agree. I love Scythe. I love the metal components. I love all of the coins. It's hard to. I'm trying to think in terms of like all of the Stonemaier stuff. It's like hard to fault a lot of their board presence. Like they really don't mail it in. Like they have such high quality stuff, and they usually get really good artists. And
For sure.
There's just so many pretty games nowadays. It's like it's almost more. It'd
be easier to pick out ugly games.
Yeah,
I feel
I know. Like,
I know, right?
Too many.
we could just all talk about Ethnos a little bit more.
We used to back in the day have to say like, oh man, all the thematic games are super nice looking and all the Euro games are like terrible, but there are so many like great, amazing looking Euro games.
Yeah.
Sometimes they fool you and get robbed to play them. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, they window shop you.
And I
Exactly.
think it probably has to do with the competition. There's so many more games being made now. It's like if your game's not pretty, it's not going to get bought because it has to sit next to, Everdale or Sleeping Gods or Brass Birmingham. Like it has to look that good.
Yeah.
I love the fact that the production on so many games are like just so much nicer. Like, and it's just getting crazy. I mean, I enjoy it when it like isn't like over the top, just too much stuff like a CMON campaign, but then it's just everything you get in the game is like super quality. Like games like Let's Go to Japan or whatever, where it's just like they went out of their way to make everything like super nice looking and just like you get the deluxe version of it or whatever, and it comes with like everything's in bags and things like that, and just everything is like wooden tokens that are like really nicely screen printed and stuff. Like back in the day, it just used to be like cube, but now everything's like really nice in games. So
Yeah, I mean, granted, all the games cost $90 to $130.
That is a downside. Everything's
Yeah.
going up, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like back like Blood Rage came out, it was like Blood Rage was like whatever it was, $60 for the box when you do get just the box, and now that feels hilarious.
so affordable.
But
Bro,
as these factors
I
are
was
being more,
freaking out. My first Kickstarter was $70, and that was the all in.
Slippery
That
slope.
was for
Slippery
everything.
slope.
these factories are better able to accommodate these different levels of production now, so they're more used to it now. So like making screen print meeples is like pretty common, I feel like now, but like
Right.
before they didn't have the means to do it necessarily unless you paid a lot of extra money. But it's almost becoming a standard now, it seems like.
Well,
that
you
kind of
have to.
stuff.
With all the 3D
Across
printing
the
and
board.
stuff that's out there now.
That too.
There's so many games
Right.
that come with like the Bakelite pieces, like Azul and stuff like that. So many games that have like those chunky like plastic pieces too, which are really nice. It's just very tactile and make the games just like look so good on the table too. You know.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me want to buy a 3D printer for like, especially for like D&D stuff.
Don't do it.
No, not yet.
I here's the thing, they're fun, but literally you're gonna have to have an entire whole nother hobby of just fixing your 3D printer. If fixing your 3D printer doesn't sound like fun to you, then don't get a 3D printer.
You get troubleshooting stuff.
It's just all troubleshooting all
Yeah.
the time because it will not continue to work. You might get a couple really cool miniatures out of it, and then it'll break for 3 months, and then either A, you need to love fixing 3D printers, or B, it's gonna just sit there broken.
All right.
Yeah, just wait a little while longer. Wait till
Yeah,
the
Rob, just wait.
technology gets better.
It's like over in my other hobby, like in fly fishing, they always say like you'll never make your money back tying your own flies, and you won't. You never will. You have to love sitting at a vise and tying little tiny flies because all the crap costs so much, and you can only buy it in such big pieces. So,
Yeah. But they are really cool to be able to print exactly what you want, you know.
Yeah.
But it is
But that helps though with like today's board game stuff though. Like there's stuff
they have
there.
to compete with it. Yeah.
You have to compete with stuff like that. Like you said, you can't just do the cubes really anymore, because there are options. So, and it's nice to see the big factories are printing off great stuff too. So
yeah. Awesome,
My honorable
guys.
mention was Lorcana, which
Yeah, I
just
love-
has amazing artwork across the board.
It actually
For-
does
as
have
far as
really good
CCG.
artwork.
Yeah,
It's
it
amazing,
does.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially
they picked some
compared
really
to
good artists for that.
Yeah.
Compared to Star Wars Unlimited, they need to step up their game.
Hey, I like Star Wars Unlimited art. Shut up.
You do? Oh yeah, I forgot you like that
I
art.
kind of like it.
I like the game. I don't like the art. Ugh.
I like the art, and I think in part because,
Because it's bad.
Fantasy
Yeah.
Fl-
Uh
oh, no, shut up, Roy.
huh.
Because Fantasy Flight has such a history of like just reusing art from these IPs. So when they released it too, it was like, oh, it's not just all the Star Wars art and all the other games just recropped, which is kind of what Star Wars Destinies was. It was a lot of the same art that you saw in like the other games. I don't know. You see it in Arkham too. All the Arkham stuff.
Yeah,
It's
all the Arkham stuff looks the same. Yeah.
like all the same art. So I just thought it was neat that they took a different style, and I don't know, I kind of dig it. Kind of dig it.
hey, don't be ashamed. Like what you like.
Don't yuck my yum, man.
Right?
That's cool. That's cool. But yeah, I'm glad Kent hasn't gone off the deep end in that yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
Give it time. Maybe.
Sure.
Anyway.
We're
Awesome,
not
guys.
even a year in.
Well, I guess that is officially a podcast there. We have talked about all the things.
Format
but-
didn't
Send Roy
make
all
it.
the messages. Let us know your pretty game, what you
Oh, for
consider
sure.
to be pretty, and what you guys like.
Leave it in the comments
and
below.
things like that.
Make sure to share our stuff on the Facebooks. We
Yeah.
had several people stop by and like our thing on Facebook. So,
I love when people like our thing.
like our stuff. Thanks everybody for doing it. Guys, excited that you guys were talking about Helldivers. I guess that's what happened when I was upstairs in hell myself. No, I'm just kidding.
Canvas. No, we did not. Matt's
Yeah.
asking, did we talk about Canvas?
That's a good pick too.
Oh, yeah.
Canvas is an
That's
amazing
pretty
game,
big.
yeah. So, yeah, Canvas
There
is
are
super
a
cool.
lot of beautiful games out there.
Mm,
Too
for
many.
sure.
Too
A
many.
lot of beautiful games.
Yeah,
So-
we could go on for hours, literally.
Yeah.
Bro, just Shogun. If you're watching Shogun,
I'll have to start watching it. It's kind of on my short list, but you know,
Adam.
I know.
Adam,
Oh,
instead of going to Culver's with the teenagers,
I send them alone.
man. And Tuesday's the finale.
It's coming up.
Can't handle it.
I'll try to do it. I'm trying to do Fallout right now.
Oh yeah, I watched the first few episodes of that.
It's pretty good.
It's
pretty
very
solid.
Fallout, that's for sure.
Yeah, it hits the tone really well, so I'm kind of enjoying that. And maybe I'll do Shogun next. Then I'm gonna get through Fallout, and then I'll go over to Shogun. Promise.
Shogun is what Game of Thrones should have been.
All right, that sounds like a vibe.
Oh yeah, I've been watching a little bit of Delicious in Dungeon, which is funny because like my coworkers like it, and like my coworkers don't like any anime, so that's kind of funny. It's basically Rob, have you seen Delicious in Dungeon? It's basically these characters who are like, it's very D&D. So they're like go down the dungeon, but they don't have enough money for food, so they're like trying to figure out what in the world to do because they're starving to death, and they find this dwarf who basically like talks them into like eating the different monsters in the dungeon, and like comes up with all these different recipes about doing all this stuff, and then like the moral dilemma of eating all of the different dungeon things. And the dwarfin is just hilarious, you know, of how he's like cooking up all these different creatures and stuff like that. Oh, you mix this and this, and it ends up like turning into like a recipe show, but talking about all these like D&D monsters basically that they're eating.
Yeah.
And, you know, you have like the thief and like the paladin and all that stuff. It's on Netflix. Like it's kind of funny because like not many like I haven't seen too many people get into too many animes, but it's been cool to see how this is kind of like bridge the gap in between like a bunch of different people. So that's been kind of cool. So. And it's probably because it has a very D&D theme to it, you know.
Oh, you should get them all to watch The Dragon Prince right after that, then too.
I know, right? There you go.
Yeah. Hey,
we watched Blue Eye Samurai.
That's you did. So good.
Yeah.
Which is
you
kind
guys
of
watched
anime
that and play
adjacent.
Helldivers together?
Yeah, we did. We watched
after?
it, and then we played Helldivers. We talked about Rob.
We still need to download Helldivers, so.
So
hey,
good.
don't because they're not going to play with you. So don't even download.
Oh no, I'm a different person than you, Rob. They'll probably let me play. So
Probably. You are right.
You gotta.
I could always be the mole, Rob. I could go in there and like when they invite me, also invite you. But then I might not get invited anymore.
Of 4.
Oh well, okay.
Man, it'd be awesome if you could do more than 4 squads. I could see that happening in the future for like mega missions.
Maybe eventually.
But anyway,
this has been Helldivers Podcast.
It's a real. It's real. It's not a video game. It's real. I don't care what Kent says.
It's like Ender's Game.
Yeah.
It's real.
Exactly. We're living it now.
Rob follows the real news from the front lines. Has to do his part.
I do.
And Gleason in chat, you're right. Radlands has incredible art. It's incredible little presentation. I agree with you, Radlands.
I just played half a game of Radlands for the first time, so yeah, it's really nice.
I would have picked Dice Throne, or a game like Dice Thrones, but I was thinking of non-cartoony. But I love the quality components, and I think Dice Throne is gorgeous. It's just not like that, you know. It wasn't like that pretty. Just like outside of Great Wall, probably still is Brass Birmingham. It's the best board I think I've ever seen. I just love that board.
Rob needs it to be gritty to be pretty.
Yeah.
Well, it is, man. It's just raw. It's gritty, and I love
high contrast.
The grays and the purples. 'Cause, you know, it's got like that midnight purple, you know, and on the water and everything. It's just, and then the dark blue and the gray. It's a gorgeous board, man. But anyway.
It almost looks as good as Betrayal at House on the Hill.
Dun dun dun.
Well, I thought about Mansions of Madness and stuff, like thinking about like all the artwork that they do for the boards and stuff. Like those are great. That's great artwork.
Henning
too.
Ludvigsen does a great job on all his boards. He did Mansions of Madness. He did he's done many. He did Blood Rage board. He's done so many different boards. So
man, they're real pretty, and I love the Mansions of Madness. Like when you have the different rooms and the details in the rooms of like the paper stacked up with like the plates and the cups on them, or the things in the corner and the lamp. Like they get some really great artists on it. The more I think about Mansions of Madness, the more
I haven't played that in a while. I should play that too. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a great game, man.
I really should. I might do that. I just this podcast has made me this week's made me. I'm gonna probably get to play 1 or 2 games this weekend. I don't know which one it's gonna be now.
Gotta make it happen. Play them all.
Thanks a lot.
I need
no
to play
sleep.
Unmatched.
Play games.
So I still haven't played Unmatched.
Ah.
I tried to play with Adam and Courtney, but they didn't invite me.
No, we didn't. We played with Adam, and we laughed. We laughed about it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I guess we will wrap this thing up. Thanks everybody for joining us, and I guess everybody go play Helldivers without Rob. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.
That's fine.
Bye.
I don't need y'all.
Bye, everybody.